Another fellow was playing bad, and I said to him, you see your mother and father out there? Well, you should be a fucking ashamed of yourself. I had gimmicks to get when they stuck around show them, like, you know. And
they played.
They'd be running out of the dressing room with their hair up like that, you know.
Now, I'm going to welcome you all to the Salvation Show. And just to let you know, you can see at the bottom of the screen, we'd like you to subscribe. You know, it doesn't cost you anything. Just subscribe to the page or to the channel. And I'm Paddy Mack.
Sean McInerney, good morning.
We'd like to welcome our guest, one of Ireland, not Dundalk, Ireland's legends, the one and only John Murphy.
Oh, Paddy, I could listen to you all day.
I know.
It's great to have you here, John.
Yeah,
John, you're very welcome.
Thank you, Paddy. It's great to be here.
A lot of photographs coming up on Facebook of your football days. When did your career start?
I played my first game for Dundalk now in 1958. But I was after coming through the minor league, the summer league, and then there was a B team at that time that you got into. And they were all locals. And if you were good enough to make the step up into League of Ireland, well, I was good enough and was lucky enough to be able to do it.
And how many caps did you get for Ireland?
8 caps.
8?
8. I was capped for Ireland at South, and I got a cap for the North when I played down there with Glenavon. So I represented 42 counties.
There you go.
Paddy.
Not many people can say that, John.
There is rugby players can say it, but not many soccer teams can say it.
No. Like, it was hard. If you got something down the north at my time, like I was there from 64 to 69, and it was rough passages, Paddy, because you played in Windsor Park where they'd spit and you going down and follow you around the pitch and everything.
Yeah. And
then you go to Ballymena to throw stones at me, you know, because my name Muffy. And I was never from Dundalk, believe it or not. I was always from Dublin.
Yeah,
you know.
I think there's more Murphys in Dublin than there is in Dundalk.
I don't know about that, but certainly Lord of Mercy and Margaret, she came to all the games with me.
Yeah.
And one of the first time we played Glentoran, you played at the Oval's the name of the pitch.
Yeah.
She got out of the car, it was our first time, and there it was a mural on the side of a wall, Dundalk will burn.
John, was there many Republican players on that team? And both teams, Ballymena and Glenavon. Was there many other?
No.
You were the only one.
I'd say there was about, in different teams, Derry had a couple from Dublin, and Bangor had one, and Glenavon, where I played, we were all Northern guys. You know, but would you believe it, that this day I still get Christmas cards from them?
Isn't that unbelievable?
Honest to God, like, you know. And some of them have passed away, and the wives keep sending them.
Oh, that's nice. It's great.
That's what's that? 60 years ago, Paddy. Now.
Yeah, and that's the thing that people don't see. You know.
Yeah.
The things that good things that happen.
That's what when I look at football these days. You know, we did interviews and stuff like that with Dundalk. The players pass each other like ships in the night. There's no time for each other. You know, there's no camaraderie. You know, like we were through Jimmy Hasty last week, and it was a brilliant night. Like, fabulous. You know, Jimmy Hasty, you could stay with him. You could stay with him all week, never mind the Sunday. You know what I mean? It was a story. It was a crack. It was a bit of a laugh, and you just look forward to off the field as well as on the field.
But in case some of the younger viewers don't know, Jimmy was the
one-arm wonder. Yeah.
He was unbelievable.
Paddy, he could put a tie on him quicker than me.
Yeah.
And he could deal the cards out like that, and he'd have a handful of money. Do you know the way you'd have a pile in front of you when you're playing poker? He'd be able to lift it as well as throw the card out.
And it must have been funny too when the ball hit him and so at handball. He said,
but
no.
The thing about Paddy, there's many a time throughout the game that he'd go over and try and take a throw in.
Yeah.
And him with only the one arm.
Tell me this, Sean. Did he enjoy a pint? Did he ever have a pint?
Oh, did he?
But the reason why I'm asking that is, the reason why I'm asking that is my father used to play down in MJ's or in the McGuill's. And he used to play the piano down there, and he said, there's a fella came in, he says, I was talking to him one night, And he said he plays for Dundalk, but he's only one arm. Right, that's Jimmy Hasty.
That's Jimmy.
Great singer, great entertainer.
I used to take him home to our house, and he'd still claim the money that he stayed in the long hotel. That's where he always stayed, you see. And that's where I saw him putting the tie on. And he showed me how he could get up over a centre half. He had a wee stump. And he was only 14 when he lost arm. His first day at work down in Belfast in the wood place, and he had a wee stump, and he could lay in on you. And he says, "John, try and get off the ground now." And there might as well be 2 ton on your shoulders. You couldn't get off, and that was one of his gimmicks.
Well, I
and
remember.
The referee couldn't give a free kick, Paddy, because the arm of the jersey was hanging down like that, and you couldn't give a free kick.
It was a nightmare. It was a nightmare for a referee.
I remember on the street. I remember when Dundalk were doing very well when you all played as kids, that some of the players would put their arm inside and let the lad hang.
That's right.
I'm Jimmy Hayes.
That's right.
It was a lot.
Oh, sure, we had all growing up your favourites. Like, I never saw Joey Donnelly playing, but he holds the record for Dundalk, 142 goals, and Hoban's about 5 or 6 behind him now at the moment. I'm sure Pat Hoban will break that record. But you knew Joey down beside you.
I did. So we got the vegetables and everything.
And would you believe it? He was, when we won the league in 1963, he was a sort of a coach or manager at that particular time. And if you were, he'd played the 5-a-sides with us. And if he wasn't on the winning team at 9 o'clock, say when it was time to go in, you'd stay there till 10 o'clock till he was on the winning team. He was still competitive at that.
Very competitive.
You know,
he had Jimmy the son ever played football, John?
They played all right. Like,
because they were very funny, him and Joey. Because I remember coming from walk up York Street. They lived in York Street there.
Yeah.
And Joey was at the door and he said, "Sean, we'll go over and tell Jimmy to go up and collect me pension." Say, Joey, I'll do that. And over to the shop anyway, and Jimmy was outside sweeping. Joey, I was talking to your father, Joey. He says, "Would you go up and collect his pension?" So you go and tell Joey to fuck off. Well, that rapport going with the two of them, you know. I thought it was very fun.
But Jimmy played a bit of summer league, but he never went forward any but further than that, like, you know. But in those days, like I was a very lucky guy because there was plenty of summer league teams. There was 38 teams then in the summer league at that time, like, you know. And I was lucky to get playing with the Pats, and they were one of the better teams in there, you know. And you were in the limelight then the whole time, like, you know. But you know, there was better players than me. Never got a game with Dundalk. But the one thing I had, John, was dedication. I trained like a cunt, like, you know. I just wanted to be a footballer.
Listen, I remember being at a few games in Joe's Park. And the crowd you get up there.
They were great. And the wooden paling around the pitch, wasn't it? And there was a board there with all the fixtures. And a barrel where Wally Barnacle used to say, was the gate man. And you throw your trumpets or sixpence on it. And there was entertainment for till 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock in the summer.
It was brilliant. And they wouldn't get, the crowds in Joe's Park was serious.
There was a chap was over the minor teams that time. Jimmy Callan was his name?
Jimmy Callan, yeah.
I remember I was into the hurling all my life. And he came out to Fallon one night and says, "Would you like to play football? Soccer?" No, at that time it was a band. You couldn't play.
That's right, there was in the Rule 27.
Rule 27, you couldn't. I don't know. I said, look. So I got a few of the boys and we all went up to play in Joe's Park. And then I remember getting a letter in the post that said I was seen in Joe playing soccer in Joe's Park. My mother was going to kill me.
That's a terror.
She was a country woman now. She was into this, you know, all the things right about Irish football and everything else, or Gaelic football and hurling. You were seen in Oriel Park. You know, you were lucky.
That's right.
And you were suspended.
That was
Stephen White and Lynchman. He used to put false beards on them going to Oriel Park of a Sunday. The games were on a Sunday then, you know. And there was, if Rule 27, you were gone. You didn't play anymore. And now the present day, they'd be delighted to welcome you into the pitch now, whether it be soccer, Gaelic or rugby or anything.
Look at Kevin Moran went from Dublin to Manchester United. You know?
And he played against Dundalk, would you believe it,
Yeah.
Paddy, for Pegasus
Yeah.
in the first round of the Cup.
Terror, you know.
And he got more he got more stitches in his face than any other footballer in England. Why? Because he didn't know how to jump. It was a different action from Gaelic to soccer. And he was cut all over the place.
Just to let a listener know.
Yeah, he's
I
nearly as
wasn't
bad
playing
as
with
yourself,
Kevin
Paddy.
Morton.
You know.
I was getting a facelift.
But there was great characters in football then. I played with Kevin Blunt. He used to hang from the cross.
I remember. A few times I wasn't knowing your power.
Christy Barron, Ted McNeil. Ted McNeil, he'd dive in a hand grenade. Like, he would. And like, he was brilliant. Brilliant. Like, hey, Muffy, what? You see that ball in that net? I do. What happened to you there, Ted? He says, if you had a fucking cleared that 10 minutes ago, it wouldn't be there.
You know, but there was, I told you.
It was never his fault. It was never his. And, do you know the way we used to go to Limerick and Waterford and Cork and Charles Paddy Quinns, we Mickey Quinn and all them out. Used to drive us.
No buses.
There was no big mini buses as there is.
Well,
now.
I remember I was playing for Loudoun, and I think it was in outside Dublin somewhere anyway. And the taxis come to pick you up. And be a taxi coming in to pick me up in Fatima, you know. We never had a car in Fatima, never mind. Yeah. And there were 3 or 4 of us in the car heading off to play hurling. Paid for by the county board. Great, I mean...
It's terror, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. We'd get out in Care House and have a meal before we went to Cork. And we'd walk 1.5 miles, and that was the warm-up. Walking 1.5 miles out the road, and the cars would catch us then. The two taxis would catch up on us.
Luxury buses.
And that was now they're out for an hour with cones and everything, and I'm looking at them. Oh Jesus, where did they go wrong?
The only cones you seen was on your way on the road.
I was in an ice cream shop.
I remember Joe's Park. I remember Greenfield playing the top team. I remember Brian Carroll. Brian said to me, "Will you bring your boots tomorrow?" I says, "Oh, great, I'm on." He says, "No, he wants to lend them."
Jerry McCourt was great.
Yeah.
If you had a pair of boots and someone had only 10 men, will you play? And he'd get anyone from the sideline at all. And I remember someone coming in, Jerry, one day. Jerry, I've no boots and I'm playing next door. Don't be worrying, son. Do you know what he had? A pair of Wellingtons. That's no lie. That's no lie. And another about Jerry McCourt. He was our trainer. Dermot Cross would come down with a dicky bow. You'd never see. You think he walked out of modern fashions, window, like, you know.
I remember.
And we were there with hardly a shot from the key, like, you know.
Good looking.
But anyway, Dermot had a groin strain, and he was on the table. And Jerry says, "Get up there, Dermot. I'll have to shave you the hair of your leg." "All right, Jerry." And he goes over to the window, Paddy, and he looks at he takes this razor from it, and it must have been there since 1916. There was rust on it, and Dermot with the dicky bow, you know, hey, Jerry, what the fuck are you going with that? You know, and he says, "I'm going to shave your leg. It'll save it. When I pull the plaster off, you won't be sore then. You're not fucking touching me with that," he says. And Jerry, I'll tell you another one again when I'm on this. I was injured in the summer league, and I was up in bed, and Jerry used to go down the sign down past our house to the Barrack Street to the sign down there. And Mrs. Muffy, I heard he was injured last night. He's up there in bed. He can't move. I go up to him, and way up he came. "Hello, Mrs. Muffy, have you any oil down there?" "No, Jerry." "Olive oil or anything like that?" No. "And what have you?" Nothing like that at all." "Well, I'll tell you what you have. Have you any Brill cream?" "I have," she says. "Well, that'll fucking do me." Brill cream, he rubbed me back with.
The moisten it.
You know.
Yeah. But you were saying about all the coming in the dicky bows and the shirts and all that. But today, they're overpaid.
Oh, well.
And luxuries, as you say, that they go out now with cones for a warm-up.
Like, we're £3 a week. I had.
You had.
And I went in to ask Jim Malone for 10 shillings of a rise. And like I had made the grade at that time.
Yeah.
I would have paid 40 odd games every season because when you got in, you were more or less in for good, like until you got injured or something. And I went in and he says, Jim, I'm looking for 10 shillings of a rise. And how could we give you 10 shillings of a rise, he says. And he started, I don't know how he done it, he's a bit of an actor, he started to cry. There's no one coming to the gates, and we have to apply for re-election, and you were looking for 10 shillings. I ended up, I put my hand in the pocket and give him a pound. Like, fuck this, I couldn't put up with that.
Tell me this, John, did you, I know, I remember.
But like, it was the honour, you didn't know, the money didn't bother me. It was the honour of them with Dundalk.
Yeah.
Like for me from the Key and that. And the funny thing about the Key, it's a great record of players that played with Dundalk. Willie Crawley, Tommy Coleman, Gaida Mullen, you know, all
David
fellas
Crawley.
from and David Crawley captain the first division team that won it when Dundalk were in the first division, and I captained the Premier Division, and we lived 30 yards from 300 yards from each other.
Isn't it? And
you know, and no other local has done that. Done the first division or the Premier, only us.
Isn't that incredible?
Isn't it terrible? I mean, 300 yards away we lived from each other.
A great reputation.
It was a great breeding ground, like, you know. But in those days, you had nothing else only to play football. The minute you got home, you threw your school bag in the fucking corner and you were out playing football. And I tell you what, there was no menu when you came in for your tea. Whatever was on the table, you dived in and got it.
What did he used to say? Hunger's great sauce.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. But they're all changed times.
Oh,
you know, I wouldn't say for the better, because it was a laugh a minute. Even when you went to work in the shoe factory, it was a laugh. It wasn't a laugh for me if I played bad, because 1,400 of them was fucking following me in the toilet of a Monday.
But growing up, did you work in Hallidays?
I did, yeah.
And any other jobs apart from Hallidays?
No, it was all
it was always in those days.
I made I never seen it. Well, I seen shoes all right, but I never handled them. I made the knives that cut the different parts out that was stitched up.
For the
that's
clicker.
what I done with a welder and stuff like that.
Clicker,
and you'd shape the steel with your foot into whatever paper pattern they give you. So that's what I done.
And then they put an edge on it as well.
There was a cutting edge on it, and I lost out playing again the 1966 World Cup team, believe it, by not getting another cap in Ireland or in Belfast, because he let a coil of steel now that I was talking about. I'm down on me fucking 15 stitches, Paddy. I was out for it.
I know how you feel.
I was out for 3 months. I was bad looking as you, only it was in my leg.
John, I just, I had a few games, lots of games in Royal Park, but a lot of people were talking about the two great fullbacks for Dundalk, and you were one of them, and Tucci Miko was a formidable back line there.
Yeah.
Great.
But there was an awful tradition of fullbacks. There was Crawley and O'Neill, there was Finn and Ralph, and then Tucci, McKeown and Murphy came along, and now we can't get a fucking fullback. All we get is drawbacks.
But I heard, it's always talked about, as you know, that John is on Dundalk FM, one of the best. I was at a game helping you out one night.
That's right, deadly.
And there was a fella standing beside on a computer, sitting beside us, and he done the CFAX, and he used to put it up, Dundalk 1, Shelbourne 0, or whatever, and he put it all up, and he'd get the scores from all over. And he typed on the bottom, he says, if you get a chance, says, tune into Dundalk FM, and he put up the website. He says, you have to hear this commentary. And he's sitting beside it, and there was one that I thought was, I can't think, who was the manager? He was from Liverpool.
Manager?
Yeah, of Dundalk.
Oh jeez,
I can't think of his name.
I'm sure he's from Liverpool.
Yeah, he did Liverpool accent anyway. But I remember,
it was before my time, Paddy.
Oh no, it was not. I tell you, I remember it because they were playing bad one night,
right?
And the press interviews are up, and he was talking about it. He says, "Yeah, things went too good tonight. And Jerry Malone from LMFM was quite. I was standing watching this, and he says, so they weren't at their top tonight. He says, no. And then you says, what you're trying to say, Jerry, is a fucking shite. I think you were put out that night.
It's a terror when you talk about stuff. We were playing cards when I was playing with Dundalk, going down in the train, and a fella called Noel Dunn, he was him and W.P. Murphy were the top 2 sports journalists in the Independent.
I remember
and
Dunn.
He fucking sat in the play with us on the way down. So he had the house, and I had 4 jacks. And the boy said, "Oh fuck me! I screwed them, like, you know. I took most things off him." And the boy said, "Yeah, that fucking Muffy fella, you didn't see him dealing them, did you?" And he was looking at us like that. And every time I played after that, Muffy hopeless, and Independent hopeless. But he got me that way.
Yeah, but just were on the column of In Between the Posts.
Go ahead.
Yeah, there was
I have a mobile phone, Paddy. I'm not.
Someone took a photograph, put it up on Facebook of your comments. He says you done. I think it was young Mulvanna. He scored, and Kieran Mulvanna. And you said, "Yeah, there's a Brucey bonus for you now." And he had it up.
Yeah,
he did all the comments.
You can't write a script, Paddy. You know, you're going to. It's happening in front of you, and it just comes off my tongue.
Oh, we know.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing.
And there's more than good things comes off my tongue.
Especially if you're doing the sound in the studio and you have the boys, you make sure everything's working. Yeah. And then you're sitting and you're hearing it coming by and you're going, "Oh fuck, what is?"
We ended up with that. Well, fuck that. 2 or 3 weeks. I think it was against Shelbourne or something.
Yeah.
It was Shelbourne,
But then there's the other side of it. The other side of it. It was your birthday yesterday.
It was.
And I played. We done a lad in the studio of Under Pressure.
Parry phoned me. I didn't even know I was on the air.
Yeah, Parry done it. But I got a message in from 2 McAlevy's from Blackrock.
Sean and Tony.
Sean and Tony. Yeah, and they said it was your birthday. I said, we didn't know. So I played that piece.
Go ahead.
And the ones where you come in of the European game.
Oh, they were brilliant. But
we thought you were going to have a heart attack.
Even the Dublin journalists, they were looking back at me. Yeah. I was like a fucking Egypt, standing up. And no one else was standing up, only me. Like. Yeah. And poor Gussie, Gussie's not as passionate, say, as I am. He's sitting there, you know. And Ger's not as passionate enough for a race, but he wouldn't stand up. But when we won the cup, Paddy, I ended up rolling and crying.
Oh, I'd say
honest to God, because I remembered all the old people, the old faces that played. Yeah, and the closest I got to winning the cup with Dundalk was the semi-finals, and the great Shelbourne team bat us, and they went on and won it. And you know, for me, it took back memories all of a sudden, and it was overall
of course you would be.
You know, a big, strong fucking John, like, you know.
I know, but
bang, there I ended up crying.
Yeah, it's from the heart, like, you know, you've seen it all. I remember when they were playing in Lansdowne Road. I can't think who they were playing. The one and only Tommy McConville, Jim McLaughlin, and all of them. And we all went up in the bus. But in those days, we were talking about shoe factories. I was on the sick, and when you got the cert, you weren't allowed to be seen out.
Oh, that's right.
You know, destroyed.
Yeah.
So here's me in a Starsky and Hutch fucking jumper at the game. Dundalk won. We all run out in the pitch. And fucking the Evening Herald got a photograph. I was taken into the office. I worked in Weinberg. Into the office. You were on the sick there 2 weeks ago. Yeah, what happened? Yeah, I wasn't feeling too well. You were well enough for that. I was fucking suspended.
Suspended. Yeah.
Fucking
for little or nothing, like,
for
you know.
Nothing, you know.
Yeah.
And nowadays, if you go on the sick, you get a pension and a green card, a medical card. They call it. John, what about you growing up in Dundalk? What apart from the football, entertainment?
Born down the quay, Paddy, and I tell you, there was no menu. You got whatever was on the table, and that was it. You know,
And you didn't ask for seconds, son.
you wouldn't get it. You wouldn't get it. We were reared on flatfish.
Yeah.
Because at that time the fishermen, they were all the Fosters and the Breens and all them from St Clements Park.
Yeah.
They'd all have boats, and they'd throw the flatfish up on the side of it, and you'd have a paper, and you'd put them in the paper at home, and your mother would do them then.
Yeah,
And
but now if you go to a restaurant, they're known as place.
that's not what it is. For Paddy, I don't know when I was in the restaurant. The closest I was the Roma over there, a bag of chips.
They're called place now. We used to get them in the ramparts as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you wait to get on. You put your feet up when
Yeah.
they come across. You just put your feet down.
Yeah,
And,
but the key at that time, like that's where the boats come in naturally enough.
Yeah.
And there was great characters. I remember a man that lives in your area, Dodla Rogan, and
Dodla,
Jean McBride.
Yes.
And did put a show on. Help those who cannot help themselves.
Yeah.
And it was a great saying. And then we had Dixie Ruddy. Do you remember Dixie
remember
Ruddy?
Dixie Ruddy,
Dixie
yeah.
Ruddy, as I stand here upon this platform, and it was a fucking orange box, you know. And there's a lot of good things to be done round the quay, you know, and there was a lot of women used to be there for the sailors, you know.
And I'm the man that's going to do it.
If I get in, you'll have 6 months holidays twice a year. You know.
I remember Dodla.
And he was so passionate. He headed the poll, but everyone fucking
He was at
voted for him.
Dixie's.
Everyone
Yeah.
voted for him.
Well, I remember Dodla.
He was
I
great.
remember Dodla went up for elections, and it was the count. And then anyway, he got up and he used to have a matchbox, and he'd open the matchbox. He says, "Hello, my friends. I just want to say something and thank you to everyone. Well done to whoever won the Fianna Fáil one and all." The Dodla, I think, went up as an independent. He says, "But I just want to say, there's an awful lot of fucking liars in this town."
He was right. He was right.
Everyone told you to vote for him.
I got a wee job with Boland's Bread.
Peter McAvinny.
Peter McAvinny and Jerry McCann.
Yeah.
And all the mouse
And Lord Reston as well, John Clark.
John
the
Clark.
drummer. Yeah.
Me and him started nearly together. We were on different runs, but you know that was a great. A fella called Joe Barry came down. He drove the Boland's van, and he took us over to the park to play a game of football. And I'll never forget his words, Paddy. He says to me, "Muffy, you'll never be a fucking footballer."
No.
And I says, "John, I'll fucking prove you wrong." But, you know, he says, "You're too fat." And I'm still too fat.
Yeah, I remember that, just when you say, I remember in the De La Salle school in a singing class, and I was put out, and your man says, "You'll never be a good singer."
Yeah.
I think that was just a wild guess.
Yeah. But like everyone lived off each other. Like, did you ever? I remember going down to O'Callaghan's, Dirty Dick's, for my grandfather, and this is every day, Paddy. 6 boxes of Mrs. Collins pills, and he'd fucking eat the 6 of them every day. And there were wee pebbles, like
and they were made in York Street.
That's right.
Yeah.
And he believed, he had 6 of them every day, and he'd say, "I'm not well." And when you go in, he'd have half a fucking cow in the plate there. No. And him eating away. And he lived till he was 90 odd.
Yeah.
Not a bother on him.
What were these pills? What were they?
There was a Mrs. Collins powder.
Yeah.
That you could never put it in water. You had to put it on your tongue and drink it. Did you ever get a leaf and bite into a leaf?
Yeah.
It was like that 20 times over.
It came in a little package, and it was all folded over, and there's a little bit enough to put a teaspoonful. Right, and you just colds and flus and
Everything.
Everything.
He used it for.
I'd love to find Mrs. Collins.
Yeah.
She ended up with all fucking drug addicts for a week.
But my grandfather used to come over for Saturday night for the variety show on television. Just to be on about 8:30 till 9:30. And we'd all have them set. And you know, the girls would come out throwing the eggs up.
The Tilly girls.
And next thing you'd hear the fucking chair moving up close to the television. And I was saying, "Fuck me, at 90 he's still chasing it," you know.
It must be this. That was the Mrs. Collins pedal.
Yeah. That must have been working on them, like, you
But
know.
as I say, when you were saying, even from the Quay and all that, and St. Nicholas Avenue, Fatima, and my mother, she was born, bred, and buttered Lord Rest in Hughes Park.
Yeah.
And there was always, just a community.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like my mother was delivered babies, Wash the Dead.
Yeah,
You know, they've
those
done
days.
everything together.
That's
you know?
right. Yeah.
And she used to have these two halfpennies in her apron. And we used to wonder why we thought she was saving. They were for the pot on the eyes.
Go ahead.
If a dead person died with their eyes open, put them on her eyes just to keep the eyes closed.
But
Did you ever keep the hymns, did you?
No, we spent them in English's shop because
there were great
Cleves.
people there, Paddy. There was a woman called Sybil Flynn. Was known all round the quay for washing you when you died.
Yeah.
That was
there was
her
always
job.
one. My mother
You know,
was the same.
now I could imagine you asking someone to wash someone on the day.
she did run. Did run out of the fucking
There
place.
was great characters.
I know
Hughie McGrath, Barney McGrath walk with the boats.
Yeah.
And maybe he'd get £8 for doing it. He'd go over and the first thing, a fiver on the favours, whatever time the boat was finished. And if that one, he was drunk for the weekend, and if it lost, you wouldn't see him. He was gone.
Yeah.
You know, and there was great characters like that. There was another man down the Hyde Park, and he walked at the boats, and they called him the Moon Man. And I'm not going to give his name like this. But anyway, he'd run out of the boat and he'd be yoo in the way up Hyde Park. The next thing he was up on top of the roof. Yoo. You know, and there was all great characters. The name Blackout, I told you there.
Yeah.
Dump O'Hagan, you know, Sparrowfart. You know, where'd they come from? I don't know.
So there was always
You
name.
know,
And then there was,
Jesus, you could sit there. I remember O'Mahony's had a bus going up the Geraldines to play, and I was only a wee toddler with short trousers, and we got on it for nothing, naturally enough. And there, after the game, I don't know who won the game, but after the game, we were all sitting on the bars in Jackie Muffy's, and Bertie Ruddy and all them were singing. Bertie Ruddy had a great voice. He was a Joseph Locke. That was Beau Ruddy's father that lived across in Joseph's Park from us. And by Jesus, you'd want to see the talent that was there.
brilliant.
Everyone, no, there was no such thing as saying, do you want to sing? You would sing.
Oh, you're
You know
next.
what I mean?
And you dare not sing somebody else's song.
No, that was the rail of the road. You know, but the characters are gone now, Paddy.
It's very, very hard.
When you look at the
But
situation.
I know that people would think, there's a bit of a wanting one in there, but it wasn't. It was their character. You know, there was always...
That was the way they carried themselves. And you expected that from them the minute you met them.
Yeah.
You know, there's fellas to be talking to you, you'd say, are you for real? Like, you really believe in it? Yeah, I do believe in it. And it's going to happen.
Yeah.
That was the way it was.
But,
you know, all right.
You'd done a bit of dancing in your day.
I did, to be sure.
Where would you have went to?
The town hall of a Thursday night. Barney Quinn. I used to go to the Hibs hall too. Barney Quinn. I remember the song he used to sing, and it never worked for me. Who's leaving you home tonight? That was one of the songs he'd always sing at the end of the night. Who's leaving you home tonight? After the dance, and that's it. Fucking nobody.
Where me on? Well, there be the town hall, the Hibs hall.
Yeah.
Was there anywhere else? Well,
Scapa Flow. Remember?
What about the plaza? When the plaza...
No, the plaza was gone before me.
Was it?
Yeah, before I came on the scene.
well, just to let people know where the plaza was.
Yeah.
The plaza, if you go into Eddie Maguire's and you go up the stairs in Eddie Maguire's, it's from up the top of the stairs to the bottom. That's where the plaza was. He actually has it on a big glass.
Yeah. And you know who you won't remember him, Paddy? Luke Leonard. Do you remember him?
Oh, Luke.
Remember
yeah, I do.
He had his own band, and I remember we'd be coming from the pictures maybe, and we'd stand outside the Hibs Hall when we were too young to go dancing. And you know what? And the umbrellas for sale today.
You know,
it all had the song that you remember them from. You know what I mean?
It was George Duffy.
George Duffy, he was
Jimmy
a coach
Shields.
fella, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was the coach fella.
Yeah.
In fact,
Jerry Forden and all them
the whole Ireland.
started up with them.
I think didn't George Duffy make the hearses and all that?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And it was just there where the fruit place is on Patrick Street.
Oh, yes.
Because I remember, beside me, I was at McCabe's Burgers. I remember we were walking in a place down from it, and it's the smell of the boy spraying. And you'd look in, and there was a hearse. An L's effort turned into
Ah, that's right.
Thomas.
Well, I don't know what it's like now, Paddy dances, but when Ladies' Choice was called, there was a fucking stampede back to the wall instead of in the middle. You know, you were nearly hiding and hoping at the same time that someone would come over. Now, there was only one Ladies' Choice a night. Do you know what I mean? That was your only chance. If someone came over for you, well, you had a wee chance, like, you know.
He was leaving you on the night.
I was left talking for myself along the
You see, you were too fit.
That's
what's wrong.
Yeah. No, great memories of characters and that, like, you know. And I suppose when you talk about them today, people, he's fucking mad in the head. That didn't
That's
really
what they
happen.
would say today.
But it did happen.
Yeah.
And you shared with everybody. You know, if you were short to go to the pictures, well, and I had extra, it was yours.
Yeah.
You know, you were coming with me. You know.
Yeah, that always happened.
We were going to pictures one night, and I was short, so was 2 or 3. So this fella decided he'd throw the fucking money up in the air, and whoever could jump higher would get it.
Yeah.
So I fucking jumped all right, but where'd it go? Into my mouth, and I fucking swallowed it. That's no lie, Paddy. And I went to Dr. McIntyre in Market Street, and I says, I swallowed a 2 shilling piece. What will I do? He says, well, when you shake, get a stick and batter it and see if it'll come out.
I hear you want to ring the doctor and say, how is he? No change.
I don't know whether it's still in there or not, Paddy.
I can imagine the boys waiting, giving you waiting. Well, John, any sign?
No, fuck. That was right. Swallowed the 2 shilling piece.
But we were talking about no change. I remember years ago there was when Harry, in fact, I met Harry yesterday. Harry Duffy bought Harry Comiskey's when he was doing it up. And there was a fella who used to go into it every night when me seven the brother were playing there every Thursday night. But it was one night he wasn't there. And we were talking to his nephew, and I says, where's John? He was out walking around the fields, he says, and he went over to feed a horse and it kicked him. I says, and how is he? He says, in hospital. I said, Graham. So I sent the mic and I says, I'm going to play across with John. We rang the hospital, said he's stable.
I done a bit in Paddy McCarroll's, and you're all talking about different people. You know, Paddy, from the music that had ideas. This fella came in one night. He says to me, "Mind that dog, will you?" And I was looking on the fucking ground. He'd no dog with him. I want to go to the toilet, and I says, "Oh fuck." Well, I better leave this one alone. I wasn't going to get a thump around for Paddy McCarroll. Like, anyway, he came back out and he says, Spot, how did you train him? Oh, I says, hey, he's grand. Just take him now and there won't be a bother him when you get outside. So he got outside and that was the end of him. So, but like, mind that fucking dog. No dog there at all. Like, you know, another fella came in with a big, one of them big radios, blasters.
The blaster,
Put her on the counter, and all the rest of the boys were there. Are you going to fucking allow this fella? And he says, oh, jeez, you're a radio man, are you? Yeah, I love radio. He says, everywhere I go, I play it. You know, which is, you're in the wrong pub. I didn't want to get on the wrong side of the do you see the traffic lights? There's a pub there called Huey Callan, and everyone in there has a fucking radio, and that's how I got rid of it.
Oh, there was fucking...
You know, there was great
simple
stories.
days,
Simple days.
Just getting back to football, John, did you ever play the GAA or the...
Oh, I did. I played with O'Mahony's once, and I played in the school leagues, and we won them the key. And we won a cup, and it was only given to us for a half an hour because it'd been fucking stolen. Once the key was mentioned, like, we would have there on St Nicholas Avenue were two queer areas in the town at that
Duck
time.
Lane and the Featherbed Lane.
Make sure that cup's back here in a half an hour. But I remember that. I remember winning that. Like, you know, I enjoyed the Gaelic, like, you know. But at that time, Sean, as you know, Rule 27 was in, so you had to pick your sport. And that's how I ended up.
And you know what? A lot of the people on the vigilante committees, that was it's called that time.
That's
the
right.
vigilantes.
To go out and look.
That's
They go out and look for you, and they were at the games as well. They saw the game. They went,
Oh, they know you were outside. They'd be outside Oriel Park waiting to see you. That's what I told you earlier. Frank Lynch and Stephen White and them guys. I used to knew them from going to Billy Powell's to get your legs rubbed and stuff like that. Like, and they'd say, "Oh, the fucking false beards on them," or they'd be suspended. Like,
did you ever hear the draconian way that was going on? Like, men sent out to see young lads playing soccer. You weren't supposed to be doing that.
It was an old tradition that lived too long.
Yeah, but didn't it revolve around the shooting in Croke Park?
It did. Yeah. That was it. Yeah. But how long do you live with that, Paddy? Like, there's new generations. Like what you and me were brought up. Well, me anyway was brought up for. They're laughing at it today. I don't believe that happened to you.
It did. Yeah.
You tell a fella that when you went for your tea, you got what was on the table. Yeah. They'll laugh at you. Why? I have a menu.
There is now. And kids that come in nowadays. I'm not eating that.
That's it.
Sometimes the parents, including myself, would have to cook maybe 2 dinners. But now it was there, and there was pig's feet. Everything. And it's now a delicacy, pig's feet.
Yeah. There was one thing my mother used to do, and I hear the fucking sago.
It was like frog spawn.
It was like frog spawn.
And I told you, I used to go around with the bread to different places.
Yeah.
And of course at Christmas time, come in here, John. You'll have to see have a wee bit of the pudding. Fuck. And looking, I used to wear a pullover and I'd fucking tie it, and I'd be putting it down my neck the whole time. Just the taste of it. Do you know what I mean?
And there were puddings.
They were fucking puddings. That's right. It lasts for years. Not for Christmas.
I told a story here.
On the same route, it just goes to show you how simple I was. There was this man who would always stop at this house. And he'd be a while at it, and he'd say, "Hey, John, go up the road there and get 2 cones." The fucking shop was 3 miles up the road. And it was 3 miles back. And there was John coming back with the fucking cones melted. And didn't know he wanted time for us, some other business, Paddy, that I hadn't a fucking clue about. And there was John walking down the.
So you know what a 99 is.
Fucking, there was more than a 99, I'll tell you that. That's what I'm saying.
Do you remember the song about Boland's bread?
No, what was it?
It used to be
if you eat Boland's bread.
If you eat Billy Boland's bread, it'll stick to your belly like lead. Not a bit of wonder if you fart like thunder. If you eat Billy Boland's bread. Fucking.
There was great stories of that, like, and the women. What have you in your drawers today, John? You used to pull out the drawer, the buns and that would be. What have you in your drawers today, John?
And he used to think that was hilarious. They loved it.
Brilliant, absolutely.
Well, your quiz.
I said it was great. I think that even Ollie Coleman with McCann. And they came and they'd leave the drawer open. A woman would pick whatever. He'd go in and leave them up to the door. So we used to be waiting and just take 1 or 2 out and push it back. And then he come back thinking, I didn't close that drawer. And then it was in a quiz one night. What coalman in Dundalk sells bread? And everyone thinking, is he a coalman that has bread in his truck? It wasn't. It was Ollie Coleman. And then you had the coalmen and the bin men.
The bin men.
That's when they walked. Your man would carry in the coal, throw it in. My father walked in the bins for years. So with the tips at Christmas. Unbelievable.
When my father started in Longlands, he had £10. And I started in Rawson's, I had £11. I had a pound more than him, and he was in it for fucking years.
Years, yeah. Isn't that
And
terrible?
he'd come home and the eyes would be blown out of him with the pitch boats and things like that.
Yes, yeah.
And you had to be up all night to get the boat to sail at with the tide. Like.
Tides,
there was
yeah.
no such a thing as 9 to 5.
Yeah,
you know,
not in
whatever
them
way
days,
that boat had to get out with the tide, you had to empty it.
Yeah, and
you
there
know,
was-
and I done one session of filling the big buckets down in the hole of the
Yeah.
boat.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
fuck me, I never do it again, Paddy.
Oh, it's hard.
No, I
Hard.
I was fucked for a month nearly
Yeah.
afterwards,
And
then I went to the B&I. That was down at Tom Clark's
Yes.
in there, and once again it'd be for the tide, and you lined up. And the gaffer was a man called Woods, lived across me, and he'd fucking you, and he'd pass me. And I fucking lived 10 yards away from him.
Yeah.
And I'd be up at 4 o'clock and 3 o'clock in the morning. And you'd just go home and go back to bed. And that's the way it was. But no, I got a job once, and it was with the gay rope with the takes the crane. The
crane edge, yeah.
What did I get? The fucking rope. But I didn't get a pair of gloves. And
No,
the
you
rope,
didn't,
the rope was in the
Yes.
palm of my hands.
Bone,
you know?
yeah, bone
And that's why I got that job, because
Yeah.
no one else fucking wanted it.
John, just go back on the football days. I remember this as well. Your Bank Rovers days.
Oh, they were great.
They were great days,
They
yeah.
were brilliant days. There was chaps playing with Bank Rovers there, you know. And I was a fuck of a manager. I was an awful hard man as a manager, because I wanted chaps to get
Yeah, of course
something
you
out of
did,
football that I got, you know. And you don't get it being easy. You have to be hard on some of them, but you get to know them, Sean.
Yeah.
The fella you put your arm round.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
fella I told Tommy Park and God, you remember Willie and his father.
Of course, yeah.
But
yeah.
Tommy, we were playing Ballyfermot in Middletown, it was, where Shamrock Rovers used to play, and we weren't doing too well. And I says to Tommy, Tommy, how is this centre forward beating you the whole time, and you're 6 foot fucking high? Oh, I just can't do it today. I waited till he was going out the door, and I pulled him back. Tommy, do you see them trousers up there? I do, to be sure, John. Well, I'll fucking hang you up with them if you don't fucking beat the centre forward with head and ability. The second half, and we went on and won it, and we got into the FAI Cup with that.
Yes,
right.
I remember
You know,
that. I was down in Cork at that time. Remember
That's
down?
right. Yeah, buses went over the weekend to that. Like, there was
brilliant.
great, but there were great players. Like,
Yeah,
I could
great.
mention them all. Like, you know.
I had a lovely story that Buster McGee, Lord rest him,
Oh,
told me.
God rest
He
Buster.
lived across from me in Fatima. And he was telling me, he said, I tell you, we were playing a very important game, he said. And I was expecting to get this number fucking 6 jersey, you know, I was all fucking up to it. And John was throwing out the jerseys and stuff, and he didn't give me one.
That's right.
And I said, John, why are you not giving me a jersey? I said, well, fucking out last night on the fucking rip last
That's right.
night.
And do you know who was out with him? Me. We were in the Derry Hill, and fucking Enda McGill was it was the Maytime Festival.
Yeah.
And he was free tickets and a drink and everything. And we were there till 2 o'clock, you know. And I threw the number 12 to Buster, and he says, I think I made a mistake here, I'm off. It's usually number 2. He says, hey, no, if you want to fucking stay out with me until 2 o'clock, you don't play on my team. I mean, you have to have the free night, man. But you know, I was like fucking Jekyll and Hyde as a manager. I was grand off the field, but a devil at the sideline.
There's a terror the bus. I thought I'm with the manager now. I get it.
You thought he was elected, and he looked at it. That was 12, Muff. I says, yeah, if you want to drink a meal till 2 o'clock, you don't play on my team. That's fucking
fucking great.
He used to be number 2, you see, Buster.
Yeah.
That was the thing.
But
they went on, Sean, and won the Intermediate Cup. That's the biggest trophy you can win in junior football. Yeah. And there was 14 fellas, 14 chaps went out there and ran the arse of themselves in the rugby club.
Yes,
and they were accredited in Dundalk. But at that time, if you win the Intermediate Cup now, it's a big thing. It's on television even to show the Intermediate Cup. At that time, it meant nothing. You know, that's and true, you got in the draw for the play. We played Waterford, we played Bowes, we played different League of Ireland clubs, and you had to get into the semi-finals of the Intermediate Cup to get in. Now there's 16 junior clubs get into the cup.
That game down in Cork. I remember Buster saying to me, "You know what, Johnny?" says, "We're only fucking one game away from Europe."
That's right. That's right. He said that to me too, Sean. Yeah, I remember it well.
One game away from Europe.
But Buster was a great player. He was captain too at the Intermediate Cup team.
He was.
He's a great player. It was one day we were playing in Moreland, and this was in the Summer League, and I went out to collect him, and Mrs. McGee came to the door. "Oh, John, he's still in bed." So like, "What room does he sleep?" The one to the right. I ran up the fucking stairs and I pulled him out of the bed. Said, "Get your fucking trousers on you. You're playing this morning, you drunken bastards."
You wouldn't see that in managers today.
No, you would. No, I'm not calling you, Paddy. You got away with murder,
But he got up and played.
Another fellow was playing bad, and I said to him, "You see your mother and father out there? Well, you should be a fucking ashamed of yourself." I had gimmicks to get to fuck around, show them, and
they played.
They'd be running out of the dressing room with their hair up like that. That was great.
But very, very successful.
Great team.
But they were brilliant. They deserved everything they got. It was just it was an unbelievable chapter that from where they came from to where they went, and every one of them, they never said, "Oh, the training's too hard," because I give them the training that I had gone through with Dundalk and the other teams I played with, and they were doing the same. And we go out to rugby club on a Saturday and do set pieces. Corner kicks, throw-ins, different things like that. And they'd all work in the game, and it was all worthwhile. But even to get them out, Paddy, of a Saturday was something after Tuesday and Thursday. Tommy Campbell, he was in the rugby club, and he'd fucking come out. "Well, you fucking come off. I'm putting the lights out." They didn't want to go in.
Dedication.
That's how keen they were, and they got the. I was delighted for them, and all the things. I was lucky enough to win things in football, but it'd be one of my highlights that they won that Intermediate Cup because the effort they put into it.
A brilliant era and a journey,
When we were talking there about kids putting their arm in for Jimmy Hastings, years ago, kids, they didn't say, "Well, I want to go to Liverpool or Manchester. I want to play with Bank Rovers." They used to say it. I heard them saying it many times. I never got the chance.
No, I never came across you as a footballer.
I was probably playing in the pub. But
you were always stringing along.
No, I was always playing. I always wanted to play football, but I was terrible at it.
Go ahead.
I remember playing for the Clans once, years and years ago in the junior team. And I just didn't want it. I just wanted to go in and play in a pub.
It's funny though, it's great when you have someone like yourself, John, who would see a talent and go forward with it. I remember playing as a young under 14 juvenile holder, this manager, I won't mention his name, he said, something lads,
he's here.
Someday you're going to play for Loudoun Croke Park.
Yeah.
Now, he was only a 14-year-old child that time.
Yeah.
And he was absolutely right.
But I always told the boys, when the Bank started to get successful, you had different people wanting to play then, I'm wanting to come up, and I'd say, look, if you're coming up to play with the Bank, you're not coming here to win trophies. What I'll do with you is I'll make you a better player in 9 months' time, and if I don't, I won't believe that I can't do it for you. And I was just giving your own knowledge of the game back to a junior footballer that wouldn't have heard it from anyone else, maybe. And then I had the respect of having done it, and that helped me a lot. But you still had to get them to train hard. And the sweat would be pouring at them and that.
But they've done it.
They didn't want to stop.
And you could see it in the likes of Buster there and Kieran Wiseman. The teams in Dublin used to say, "How the fuck can we beat you? If you're 2 down, you still can come back." And it was fitness. We didn't train for 90 minutes. We trained for 130 minutes. You know what I mean? And that's where they even looked like a football team. You know what I mean? The junior teams, you mightn't see lads with the pot bellies and everything else.
I got that idea from Jimmy McAlinden, who was the manager at Glenavon when I went to North. And we were down the City Hall one time. We were going to Bangor, and Glentoran were over here and we were over there. And Jimmy says to me, "Do you see them Glentoran guys over there, John?" "Yeah," I says, "I do. Oh, they have pullovers and shirts on them, haven't they? They have, yeah. Well, they say, you never come down to me like that. You wear your shirt and your suit and your tie, or you won't fucking play football in heaven. And I got that idea and put it on into the bank and had pullovers and everything, and we had everything to do with like looking like a football team. And not only that, my dear wife Margaret but came up with a brilliant idea, a pennant. You see the way they hand them over now?
Oh, yeah.
Well, she used to sew them up and put the semi-finals of something on it versus so-and-so. And whoever was captain and handed over to the other captain. And he's, I have nothing for you. And he'd go back and it was worrying the fucking team. They had nothing. And we were after
These
giving
must
them.
be good. These must be
And
good.
years later, I was out in Dunleary and I was taken into this. There's fucking castles out that way on the road. I was taken into one of them, and it's a junior club, Rock Celtic or something. Well, Rock United was their name, and there was the big pennant that we played years ago, still in the fucking.
Made by Margaret.
Isn't that lovely?
And Margaret used to make a wee sort of a tie gollywog or something like that, and we give it the Player of the Year. And Kieran Wiseman and Buster and all them had won it, and they never got rid of them. They still have them to the present day. Would you believe that? They'll tell me they have them.
Jeez,
Brendan Kelly.
I knew Margaret, by the way, Johnny.
You know.
I knew Margaret Trerini.
Well, but she had to be interested in football because I was never in the fucking house. I was out Tuesday and Thursday and Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And
on the road.
Fair play to her. Like she dug in there and came away with me everywhere when I was playing myself. And you needed that because you'd be divorced. You know, and your kids grew up and known to you. But all my kids came to the game and they were on the bus and everything. And they had up the atmosphere and grew up with it. You know, and to the present day, Joanne is a mad Dundalk supporter. She'd be up there and she sits down for me. And when Dundalk scores, I look down at her. And I say, I'm not the only fucking madman here. She's up. You know, she's doing the same. Like, you know, so it's a great leveler, isn't it?
But it's wonderful the way you took it from being a manager and to being an ace reporter, as I say, and a commentator.
I class myself very, very lucky, Sean. Like, you know, like represent your country 8 times, north and south, say. You know, captain the league team, Dundalk. You know, and one other different trophies. Fella from the Key. You know, well, there was great footballers, all right, but it was hard to get a chance at that time. Like, you know,
you've done a spell.
To be happy enough.
Didn't you do a spell with Monaghan?
I did. I managed Monaghan the first fucking time. 1985, Paddy. I'll never forget it. And I went down to an amateur team in a professional league, and I told them that, and they didn't like it, so I fucked off.
That was nice.
Yeah.
That was, at least you were honest.
No, well, I was taking Bernie Savage and a few of the boys down from Dundalk and building it up, Colin McConville, and building it up that way. But they wanted me to play the Monaghan players, and they couldn't fucking kick themselves in the forest. You know, and I was always on the loser. But mine was experience for me in football. But I wouldn't call it a great success. Like, you know,
not really. But
I think I could have done it if I'd have got the right opportunity with the right people. And I told them what had happened, and 2 or 3 years later, there was a minibus coming down from Dublin with fucking 12 players from Dublin. So what I had told them really happened, and that was years in advance.
And they probably told the idea. I think we're coming close to the end. So, John, great stories. Great from the Key and all the food and the boats. And about your career and all that. But we want to thank you for coming on the Salvation.
I'd be delighted to talk about it. Like, you know, I know. I don't talk about it in the book. I've been boasting my big head or anything.
No.
I just hope people get the same opportunities that I get. I got, because I had a wonderful life, Paddy. I celebrate my birthday, as you said.
Happy birthday, John.
85 years of age.
There you go.
And I football is my life. Football and my family.
Yeah.
That's, I don't want to know about religion and sex or anything like that anymore. You know, and that football is my language now, and I love talking about it. And when you start me, I can't fucking stop.
I know, but it's the stories, the build up to the story, and then going back.
Well, there's always great stories as a footballer. That's one thing you'll always come up with.
Well, we want to thank you, John, for coming on this morning, but I think we're going over now to Chris, because Chris has
we'll wrap it up and I'll do that separate.
Yeah, we'll do that separate. So, John, again, thank you so much.
Paddy and Sean.
Thanks, Sean. Thank you very much.
It was a pleasure to be in your company.
Yeah.
God bless you.
God bless us.
That was brilliant. That was absolutely.